皆さんまた来てくださってありがとうございます。今日はね、木曜日の夕方です。ということで、今週のニュース後半は、イーロン様の、ツイッターを買ったこと、流れで、その、ツイッターがもう本当に先頭を切ってすっごい情報操作をしていたですね。もちろんFacebook とかもそうなんでしょうけど、で、大統領選とかね。なのでその流れでやっぱりこのバイデンの闇、ラップトップの闇が気づかないうちにもうどんどん出てきてたんですね。なのでこのアップデートしたいと思います。見てください。どうぞ。
Well, look, the American people were really at a disadvantage right before the election. We know this because there is a serious story of influence peddling, which was censored by Twitter. And now we're getting more information about all of the money Hunter Biden and his family, Joe Biden, Jim Biden, Jill Biden, they all took money in from officials in China, Ukraine, Russia, Kazakhstan. Here's the latest now. We know longtime Hunter Biden business partner Eric Schwerin visited the White House at least 24 times, but here's 8 times in 2016 alone, bringing the number of visits during the Obama administration to 27. Jason. The White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki, she dodged the question yesterday. Listen to what she said. Got to get your reaction.
Does the president still maintain that he never spoke with his son about his business dealings? Does he also say that he has never spoken to his son's business partners about his son's business dealings?
He maintains his same statements that he's made in the past. I would say, you're referring to Waves records that were released more than 10 years ago. I really don't have more detail or information on them.
What do you say?
Maria, Joe Biden stood on that debate stage and said he had nothing to do with his son Hunter's business dealings. Didn't know anything about his foreign business dealings.
Wait, is that when Chris Wallace shut down all conversation about it? He said to Donald Trump, voters want to hear something more substantial.
Right. I wasn't going to dunk on Chris. Been a rough week with CNN Plus.
Feel free.
We're going to go.
Who cares?
Okay. Yeah. CNN. Exactly.
Feel free.
CNN Plus pushing up daisies. Rest in peace. But Joe Biden stood on that stage, looked the American people in the eye, and said that he had nothing to do with his son Hunter's business dealings. That was a lie. He lied to the American public when they censored and shut down the Hunter Biden laptop scandal, which turned out to be 100% true. That shows the danger of centralizing all of the free speech in this country.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Dagan, this is not like some gossip story. I mean, this is influence peddling. And when you are now watching a war underway on Ukraine, and you have to question the commander-in-chief's decision-making in terms of, what to do with China, what to do with Ukraine, what to do with Russia, you recognize how important this story really is.
Indeed, it informs the most important policies coming out of this White House. And I'll note that the New York Post, again, with more on the Hunter Biden laptop, Joe Biden agreed to cover more than $800,000 in legal bills racked up by Hunter Biden, including legal fees tied to the winding down of the overseas business dealings, including that one of the Chinese companies he was involved with.
It was CEFC, I think. Yeah.
And he was footing the bills for the house, or Hunter was in Delaware. Yeah. Like the money, we don't even need to follow the money trail. It's not even a trail. It's just sitting there in a big puddle.
Yeah,
it's in Joe Biden's front yard.
Yeah, which is why I always say this is not a Hunter Biden story. This is a Joe Biden story.
10% for the big guy.
Yeah, you got it. Jason, good to see you.
Thank you.
Thanks very much. We'll be watching Getter. Jason Miller.
But remember, Biden has repeatedly denied any knowledge of his son's business dealings.
How many times have you ever spoken to your son about his overseas business dealings?
I've never spoken to my son about his overseas business dealings. I have never discussed with my son or my brother or anyone else anything having to do with their businesses, period.
Do you think it was wrong for him to take that position?
No.
Knowing that it was really because that company wanted access to you?
Well, that's not true. You're saying things you do not know what you're talking about. No one said that. Who said that?
Every single day, the evidence mounts, literally every single day. Douglas Murray, take a look at this email, January 17th, 2019. This is then Hunter Biden's personal assistant. He wrote to an accountant. She did, rather. And here's what she wrote. Hello, VP team. I spoke with Hunter today regarding his bills. It is my understanding that Hunt's dad will cover these bills in the short term as Hunter transitions in his career. I have a list of the current bills of which I am aware. I've attached the list. In that attachment is a $28,000 payment for legal bills for restructuring of BHR Partners, which is the Chinese equity firm that was the linchpin of that foreign deal that Hunter did. So we're just to believe that President Biden, well, then Vice President Biden, as he left office, never asked his son, hey, what is this about?
We have to believe at the moment that whenever the Biden family got together, Vice President then Biden just held forth, monologued. It's possible that he just, shot the breeze and just, said whatever on his mind. Maybe big Joe Biden monologue. But you know what? I doubt it.
New details emerging in the Hunter Biden scandal.
Email reportedly show a meeting between his then Vice President father, Joe Biden.
At the time this dinner took place, Ukrainian energy company Burisma was paying Hunter Biden over $83,000 a month to sit on its board. The day after the meeting, a Burisma exec emailing Hunter, writing in part, quote, "Dear Hunter, thank you for inviting me to D.C. and giving an opportunity to meet your father." The New York...
I've never spoken to my son about his overseas business dealings. I have never discussed with my son or my brother or anyone else anything having to do with their businesses, period.
Both Bidens have denied any wrongdoing. Biden's presidential campaign denying the meeting with the Burisma boss ever took place. Back to you.
Right. And there's two separate meetings there. Thanks, Todd.
How does he explain the email of one of the guys at that dinner thanking him, an executive from Burisma thanking Hunter Biden for introducing him to his dad?
We get details. It's in the New York Post today. Miranda Devine's got a book that's coming out in September. It's called Laptop from Hell. What's really curious is, and Todd talked about how Hunter was getting $83,000 a month in pay.
Until he wasn't vice president.
And then they got an email that said, hey, by the way, Hunter, your dad's no longer vice president. We're going to cut his pay in half. That tells you something.
And the second meeting, we don't have confirmation Joe was there, but it was Joe was on the guest list, and there was an email that said, my dad will be there. So why was his dad there with representatives, business people from Kazakhstan, Russia, the Ukraine? Again.
But that company wanted access to you.
Well, that's not true. You're saying things you do not know what you're talking about. No one said that. Who said that?